In the past decade, the rise in popularity of massive open online courses, or MOOCs, has been tremendous. The primary goal of these MOOCs is to offer open and free content to anyone in the world. Nonprofit organizations such as Harvard, Stanford, and MIT have all launched their own MOOCs to share content and classes with students around the globe. Additionally, for-profit course providers like Coursera, Udemy, and iTunes U have also joined the MOOC movement, eager for a piece of the growing marketplace. However, recently questions have been raised as to the quality of content and instruction within MOOCs, and many are wondering if they live up to their initial hype. In this debate, we discuss the advantages and disadvantages of MOOCs, specifically from a research-oriented perspective. We will carefully examine both sides of the issue and, in the end, describe our own conclusions.
Hello, Mike. Thank you for joining me for this debate today. I understand that you don't believe that massive open online courses, also known as MOOCs, like the one I am a founder of, can actually make a positive impact on global education. I'm looking forward to discussing this issue with you and also providing that you are absolutely incorrect in your assumptions.
Well, hello, Sabina. I also appreciate you taking the time to talk to me today. I am very eager to begin this discussion over MOOCs, and I'm also incredibly excited to show you just how wrong you are in your beliefs, which are entirely unfounded and based in no current research. So, let's get started.
Well, we will see, Mike. To start with, let's talk about what we already know about MOOCs, and then we will dig into what the research shows. First, as you probably know, MOOCs provide flexible learning content that can be tailored to individual needs in a stress-free learning environment where students aren't worried about making mistakes. On top of that, distance is no longer a problem. MOOCs offer a global solution to the learning needs of a diverse population. And with many prestigious universities like Harvard, MIT, and Stanford offering their courses for free, why would you not sign up for a MOOC? One of my favorite quotes from Jill Berkowitz and Anne Morris is that the MOOC provides information, invites participation, invokes curiosity, and encourages learning.
Well, some of what you say is certainly true. Actually, I take that back. MOOCs are nothing that you claim they are. MOOCs can be tailored to individual needs. How can you tailor to individual needs when you have a class of thousands and one professor? Sure, you can have pre-created content that might be at different ability levels, but so can any classroom. MOOCs aren't developing new material mid-course for a specific student that is having an issue. And on top of that, research shows that MOOCs really only benefit one type of learner. Those that are highly motivated, have high metacognitive skills, and who understand how to learn on their own, because that's exactly what they are in a MOOC, alone and isolated.
While that may have been true when MOOCs first came on the scene, modern MOOCs require active participation in discussion forums, which enable learners to get to know people from all over the world. Through a MOOC, students can make connections outside of their typical social spheres. They can interact with global peers, learn about other cultures, and experience an enormous wealth of ideas that would have otherwise been unavailable. Plus, MOOCs allow learners to go at their own pace. Students can re-watch old videos and take all the time they need to learn and understand new content. There is no pressure like in the traditional classroom setting.
Sure, that sounds wonderful in theory, but do you actually have any examples or research to back that statement up? And even if what you say is true, and MOOCs do allow for learners to make connections and to work at their own pace, they're still excluding an enormous segment of our global population. First, anyone without a fast, reliable internet connection is immediately ruled out. Second, basically any student with a learning disability or a physical disability that prohibits computer use is also ruled out. Finally, What about the language barrier? If you're saying that MOOCs are designed to allow for free and open education for everyone in the world, shouldn't they be created in more than a handful of languages?
That is a good point you make. And while MOOCs certainly aren't designed to support those with learning disabilities yet, the potential is there. In fact, some MOOCs are already heading in that direction and doing work towards improving access for those with disabilities by using speech recognition software for those that can type or use a mouse.
Okay, fair enough. But still, most MOOCs are not focused on that. MOOCs are, at their core, businesses. They get money from advertisements, they get money from data mining, they get money for charging for classes and certifications. And while we're on the topic, let's talk about MOOC certifications. A MOOC certification is essentially worthless. First, how can you prove that the person doing the work is the person who is earning the certificate? It's incredibly easy to cheat within this digital environment. Second, all efforts to legislate for MOOCs to be allowed to offer legitimate university-level credit has completely failed. And finally, MOOCs don't even teach the skills that employers want. Employers care less and less about credentials, especially when they're from online courses and not even from an actual university, and more about portfolios and the projects that applicants have created. They care about the skills that cannot be effectively taught in MOOCs, like face-to-face social interaction, like collaboration, skills that benefit organizations.
Okay, first of all, you are right about the certifications, and that discussion will certainly continue well into the future. MOOCs do need a reliable, valid, and recognized form of certification, and don't have that yet. And as to people cheating, some MOOCs have suggested using facial recognition software to determine if the person doing the work is who they say they are. But that raises even more ethical issues about recording students. So there is certainly work to be done in this area. But to your other point about MOOCs is not teaching the skills employers are looking for, I think you are wrong. Many MOOCs are being used in blended and flipped settings in universities and classrooms. Students use the free content from MOOCs to learn the material outside of class, and that opens up a class time for more discussion and application of the ideas they learned. Scholars have widely identified this benefit of the MOOC, and when used that way, they can certainly help teach the social and collaborative skills that you mentioned.
But that's not free and open education for all. Offering blended and flipped learning to those already enrolled in a college or university class is certainly beneficial. There's no argument there. But that does absolutely nothing to help those outside of the university setting, which is what the major claim and the major goal of MOOCs is.
While that may be true currently, I'll say again what I mentioned earlier. It's not about where MOOCs are now that matters. It's where they are going and how we are shaping that direction. MOOCs have enormous potential to change the global landscape of education, and as long as we are focused on ensuring that they have a positive benefit, we are moving in the right direction. As Laura Papana of the New York Times said in reference to MOOCs, this evolving form needs together education, entertainment, and social networking. And while we maybe haven't found the perfect mix yet, we're well on our way.
Well, let me know when you get there, and maybe then I'll reconsider my stance. In the meantime, I really appreciate you taking the time to have this debate with me today, and I hope our listeners and viewers have enjoyed it as well.
Thank you as well, Mike. And you should try enrolling in my MOOC. I think you might actually come to love it.